Hi and welcome back to my Brixton kitchen. I'm Rosie, I'm a food writer, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you a delicious recipe for lamb with pickled walnuts. So this is a really great recipe for using up leftover lamb, because I don't think that lamb works in the same way that roast beef does. You can't kind of sit down and eat cold lamb, it's not that nice. So it's often nice to make it into a kind of stew or curry or something like that. And this is actually my mum's recipe. And what you need to do, the first step, is to preheat the oven to about 150 and just wait for that to warm up. So this is a really great recipe for reusing leftover lamb that you might have, maybe leftover from a roast or a barbecue, because lamb isn't actually that nice to eat cold. It kind of, the fat coagulates and it's a bit claggy. So it's really good to put it in a stew or a sort of slow cooked thing. So what I've got here is some lamb rump, some leftover lamb rump, which is a lovely cut of lamb, especially if you're cooking it on the barbecue. And I'm going to start off by just putting this, which I've chunked up quite big. You don't want it too finely sliced because you want it to be a big sort of meaty, hearty dish. And I'm just putting this in the bottom of a casserole. For the full list of ingredients, just see the description box. Okay, so I've got some redcurrant jelly here, about 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to heat that up in a separate pan. Saucepan's fine. You have to wait for this to melt. So this recipe is actually one of my mum's that I've hijacked. I'm going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of the juice from the pickled walnuts, and it's basically vinegar, but it's really rich and delicious. So I'm putting that in there with the redcurrant jelly. And you can see that the redcurrant jelly has almost totally melted now. To that I'm going to add about 6 pickled walnuts that I've chopped up into quarters. And just stir them into the sauce, but be careful not to crumble them up, try and keep them whole and as intact as possible. And then you just want to season the lamb a bit more. So salt and pepper. And then it's really simple. It's just a case of pouring this sauce over to cover the lamb. If you're worried that the sauce is a bit thick, then you can just add a couple of tablespoons of water to thin it down a bit before you put it in the oven. And before you put it in the oven, just make sure that most of the meat is covered by the sauce. Pop a lid on it. Now put this in the oven for about half an hour, and hopefully the meat should go really, really dark and rich and start kind of falling apart and be really tender and delicious. So I've just got a pan of boiling water here, rolling boil, lots of salt, and I'm going to pour, this is about 300 grams of Orzo. So that would serve, 3 to 4 people. So I'm going to put the timer on for about 6 minutes and just keep it on a sort of boil without it boiling over. It's really important when you cook pasta that you use quite a lot of boiling water. A very good pasta chef called Francesco Mazze recently told me that that's one of the most important things about cooking pasta, is using lots and lots of really hot water. And if you want to see more pasta recipes, just click the subscribe button. So the Orzo's drained, and I'm just going to add some parmesan to it while it's hot, so that melts into there. And I find that it's just a really nice accompaniment, just with a bit of parmesan and pepper and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Just keeping it really simple, because the lamb is obviously very rich and has a lot of sweetness and acidity. I'm just going to add a little dash of this really delicious extra virgin olive oil. And give that a stir, and then that's pretty much ready to go. I'm going to add some parsley as well, just a little bit of chopped parsley to go through that. The lamb's ready, so I'm just going to take it out of the oven and serve it up. Some nice smells coming from this now. Oh, look at that. Really, really dark and rich, which is what we want. So I really love this dish because it uses pickled walnuts, and I'm obsessed with them. I think they're quite amazing things really. If you haven't come across them, they're walnuts, but not as we know them, because they're actually pickled while they're green before the shells have formed. And so they don't actually look like normal walnuts at all. But they have this really, they're pickled in malt vinegar, and they just have this almost sweet acidity, which works really well with the red currant jelly and the lamb. Right, so this is the pickled walnuts with lamb and parmesan orzo. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Let's give this a try.